I'm just going to mute myself.
Okay. All right, looks like the recording is going now. So we are here, Paul Counts here with session number 11. This is the final session of the Traffic Generation Blueprints training program. And today we're going to be talking about launching your own internet consulting business. So you're probably wondering how this fits into traffic generation. Well, over the past 10 weeks, you have been digging in deep with me on some of, the most in-depth trainings that I can give you related to traffic, SEO, and all sorts of ways to generate free targeted traffic for your online business. And so now that you've learned all these principles, I'm going to share with you how you can turn this into your very own business so you can actually do this service for other people. In fact, for those that aren't totally aware of my background, this is actually what I've done, until, basically this last year. The last 12 months is really when I started actually creating training programs and teaching programs. But prior to that, I actually got started doing this when I was 16. I started doing SEO for clients, and so I was quite young then, and now I'm 24 years old, so I've been doing it about 8 years. And this is, basically how I got my start, how I made my money, how I still make a good chunk of my income is actually by doing work for different clients. A lot of mine are local clients. I've done a lot with clients all over the country in different niche markets, and everything from big and small companies. And so basically what I want to teach you now is to take what you've learned here and apply it not only to your own business, but apply it so that you can actually profit from it. So not only did you guys learn how to grow your own business, you're also what you're gaining here is the knowledge to actually, it's a totally different business model, so for those students that are in Autopilot Wealth Institute or other, programs, you're learning several different business models, and this is just another one. And, for all just the traffic students, this is a way that you can actually profit from the teaching, even more so than just getting traffic to your site. So I'm going to jump right in here to this training. Basically, local business gold mine is what I'm talking about. The reason I say local business gold mine is because it literally is a gold mine. There is so much opportunity there. Your local market, meaning local businesses around you. Like, it doesn't matter if you're in the UK, the United States, Malaysia, anywhere in the world, it really doesn't matter. We have people joining us all over the world for this training, and it doesn't matter where you're located. This, the local market, it could be, 5 kilometers from you or 5 miles from you. It doesn't really matter. It's in the general vicinity. Just keep that in mind. So your local market is literally a gold mine just waiting to be tapped into. There are so many local businesses out there that are sitting there just waiting, not really waiting for it, but they really need services that you can offer. And services that you can offer are services that you just learned, things that you just learned in this training, like article marketing, press release marketing, video marketing, SEO, keyword research, all that stuff that you have learned. You could actually provide that service to local businesses who know nothing about it, because if you look at it, in colleges, they don't teach this stuff in schools. They do not teach SEO, internet marketing in college. You cannot find this taught in colleges. In fact, which is one of the reasons we would love to get, our program accredited as a college level program, basically just because you don't find this in colleges. They do not teach SEO. The stuff that you learn, you're never going to learn that in school. And so people that own their own business, even if they took marketing classes, they don't know this stuff most of the time. And a lot of times they don't understand how badly they need it until you can actually approach them. And so, no matter how small or how big your town is, there's money to be made, and even surrounding areas that you can reach out to. I mean, even if you are in Fremont, Michigan, you could still profit from this because there's still businesses out there. If you are in Stillwater, Oklahoma, you can profit from this. If you are in Eugene, Oregon, or Portland, Oregon, you can profit from this. If you are in, Manchester, overseas, that came out probably United Kingdom, I believe. If you're in London, no matter where you are, you can profit from this. There are businesses that need your help and need your services. So no matter where you're located worldwide in your city, no matter how big or how small, there is opportunities for you. And even if you are in such a small town, which I understand that, I grew up in a town about 300 people. So yes, the business is kind of limited there. But there's a town about 20 miles away that's got about 50,000 people in it. So no matter how small your town is, we have couple people joining us from Nebraska here. And even if you are down in Nebraska, if it takes you to go 10, go 30 miles through cornfields, there's going to be a town big enough to where you can actually find some businesses potentially. So keep that in mind. So don't feel like, oh, this won't work for me because there's not enough businesses. You can make this work for you no matter where you're located. So keep that in mind. So many people market these services online, but few people are reaching the local business market. There's so many people doing SEO, search engine optimization, link building, all that stuff on the internet. And most of the time, if businesses are actively searching for this kind of stuff, they're harder to get as clients because at this point, they've probably already sought out 5 to 10 companies, or they've got quotes from all sorts of different companies. So getting them as a client is going to be really hard, and you have to be very experienced typically to get that kind of work. So starting out, it's not a good way to go. And that's why the local business is an excellent solution for that, because you can get into this as a consultant, as your own little internet consulting firm, using, applying the stuff that we've learned. So I keep wanting to point back to that because, some of you, this might be your first training, but we have 10 other modules, 10 complete weeks where we talk all about SEO, we talk about link building, we talk about, video marketing, press release marketing, article marketing, Web 2.0 marketing. We talk about all these different ways to market, and these are all services that you can actually do for businesses. So once you do them for yourselves and you understand them, you can start marketing. You have a marketable skill to local businesses. So they think just the word SEO is exciting, and that's what's fun about local businesses is they feel like, the word SEO is new to them. They feel like when you can say, I can get you ranked on the search engines, they say, wow, because a lot of local businesses are starting to find out that there are forms of marketing that they've been used to, whether it's Yellow Pages advertising or newspaper advertising. I've talked to several businesses, and they've told me that they quit advertising in the Yellow Pages completely. They said that when they did that, they were spending, I think it was like a couple $1,000s a year, if I recall, and it was in a smaller, Stillwater, Oklahoma. The business actually was cutting their advertising, and I started doing SEO work for them, and their business has actually started to increase because they're ranking for, phrases like Stillwater beds and Oklahoma bedroom furniture and bedrooms, and all this kind of stuff, these keywords for their niche phrase. And they're able to tap into that internet presence because as the stats have shown, and, regular stats are starting to show up that there's, it's getting to where about 80% of local local purchases, it starts on the internet for people. And if you think of that, that's very true. Look at the last time, you probably pulled out the Yellow Pages to find a business. It probably was a long time ago. And most of the time people go right to Google, they go right to a directory online, they go to yellowpages.com, they go somewhere on the internet to quickly find what they're looking for. They don't want to thumb through a phone book. A lot of times, look at your cellular phones. It seems like nearly every phone, and you can even get the high-end BlackBerry phones now for $25 when you start a service plan. I mean, that's nothing compared to what they used to be. So about everybody has a data-capable phone where they can have internet on their cell phone. And so it's so convenient for people to pull up Google and say, okay, this is the business I want to find. So businesses that are not marketing on the internet, they are really losing out because fewer people are pulling out the phone books, fewer people are reading the newspaper. People are getting their news on the newspaper websites. They're not pulling out the newspaper to read it like they used to. I just saw today, where I'm at right now, there is somebody, trying to sell newspapers outside, get people to sign up for the newspaper outside Walmart. And they're just trying to push that really, really hard. And I know why they're doing it. It's because they know they're losing readers. They're trying to do anything they can to get people to sign up for them. And that's why businesses aren't advertising to them like they used to. And so they're looking for ways. They're saying, okay, I'm not getting a return, but a lot of them don't know where to turn, and that's where you can come in. And so a lot of times when you can share this stuff, they get excited about it, even though to you it's like, oh, I'm just telling you about a squeeze page. To them, it's so foreign and exciting. It's unique. It's innovative. And so they're, it basically, it gives you a better chance to close them as a client and make some potential more profits. So another great benefit of local businesses is that they are used to spending money in advertising for their business. That's just a thing, sometimes that I run into when if I end up finding clients online or they find me and they want price quotes, a lot of times they're not they're not really excited about spending money on SEO work. They know it costs money, but they don't want to spend money. They just aren't accustomed to it because their business has always been on the internet. But when you start contacting local businesses, that's really the only way they've known to survive. They've used direct mail, they've used newspapers, they've used radio, they've used Yellow Pages, they've used other other different phone directories and things like that. They've tried, all sorts of different ways to network themselves and get themselves exposure. And, oftentimes that does not mean the internet. And so they're used to, the business owners are used to spending, of their budget, maybe $5,000 to $10,000 a year or more on certain marketing type services. Oftentimes it's a lot more than that, So they set aside, $20,000 of their revenues are going to be invested into marketing of some sort. And so when they find out that their Yellow Pages marketing is not working out for them, and when they're starting to discover that when they stop running their Yellow Pages ads, they're actually getting the same amount of phone calls as they used to get, that stuff's not working for them. And so they realize that, and so they just have that money sitting there, but a lot of times they don't know where to invest it. And so, they just don't know how to invest it properly, and that's exactly where you come in. And again, it makes for a win-win situation because they've got money that they are used to spending. Whereas if you're online trying to find a person, it might be difficult. They don't really want to part with their money. They might be a lot smaller business, and a lot of brick and mortar businesses, they have capital they can leverage. They have real estate in their business, all sorts of ways they can generate revenue in order to muster up the funds to pay for marketing. And so they have the means for it. They're used to paying for it, and so they're a perfect target for this kind of service. Nowadays, they're more than likely aren't seeing a return on their advertisements through things like Yellow Pages or newspapers, just like I mentioned, and they want other options. And now that you have this knowledge, you can give them the solution they are seeking. So we already covered that. Did you know that basically by simply attending this training over the past 10 weeks, you have learned more than advertising and PR majors will ever learn in college about online marketing? And I want you guys to think about that. The small amount that you guys paid for this is actually way better than any college education that you guys have come across. And the reason I can say that accurately is because just recently I was in college, and I actually have not finished my degree because I could not get a degree in search engine optimization or internet marketing, and their idea of covering internet marketing was 2 paragraphs that said you can advertise your business on the search engines, and then they went on to the next topic. I was actually had lunch with one of my wife's old high school friends, with my wife there too. That's probably sounded awkward, but her friend was there, and she was talking about her job and what she does. And she was an advertising and PR major, and she's now working for a PR firm. And everything that which happens to actually specialize in internet marketing and search engine optimization, this PR firm does. Well, nothing that she learned in college she was able to apply. She wasn't able to apply anything that she learned in college to her actual business. Now, I'm not out there saying, that your kids need to not go to school or that school's bad. What I'm telling you guys is that you guys have received a college level education from here for a piddly amount compared to what college tuition costs. You guys are learning stuff that actually works that you can apply for that. And I want you guys, the next time you go through anybody's training course, really take that to heart, because the stuff that you are learning is actually golden. Because if you remember back to what you learned in college, which some of you may, the internet may not have been around when you were attending school, and I don't mean to see that mean. I'm just saying that that's true too. But very recently, for those that have gone to school, I personally have seen it as early as a year ago. They do not cover internet marketing. They do not cover it. Recent college graduates, they do not cover internet marketing. They do not cover SEO. And so you guys have a knowledge that these businesses crave because they can't find an SEO or internet expert. There's nobody that's coming out of the local universities that knows this stuff because they flat out don't teach it. And if they do teach it, it's very minimal, and they don't know how to teach it because they don't actually do it. And so that's where training like this is so important to building yourself up. And now that you know this, you guys can go out there. Now, I wish if I could give you guys a degree in this, I would, but obviously we can't, you guys have gone through this course, or you're about to go through the training for some of you guys. And so keep that in mind, really take that to heart and really work hard for that. So also, did you know that just knowing this knowledge, you can instantly become the go-to expert in your local community for consulting or website marketing? So just like I said, because you know this, you are this far ahead of nearly everybody in your local market, because even the SEO company or the website design company that thinks they know search engine optimization, the stuff you guys have learned would actually blow them out of the water. And I say that in all humbleness, and the reason is because they maybe just know the basics, maybe search engine optimization like title tags, but most of the time you're going to be hard pressed to find anybody that could actually that can do article marketing, press release marketing, video marketing, Web 2.0 marketing, all that in one entire package and program. You guys learn how to do that, so instantly you guys have an expertise that even your local website design company doesn't even have, and that can't even touch. So you guys have really, by being in this training, you've really given yourselves a leg up on your competition out there that might even be marketing this type of work. So marketing to local businesses, there are several different strategies you can pursue to get more clients locally. You've got cold calling, you've got direct mail campaigns, online advertising, chamber of commerce, word of mouth, sales representatives, and you can even create your own local event, which I'll share with you how to do each of these things. So cold calling is still a highly effective strategy for getting more of these types of clients. This is the type of work that, you need to roll up your sleeves and get to work, because it does take some effort. And just like with anything, whether it's affiliate marketing or anything, or anything that you learned here, you have the tools now that you've gone through this training to not only run this as a business, but to turn your own internet business, your own, generate your own affiliate sales, generate your own sales of your own ebook or your own product, whatever it is. You now have the tools. You're armed with the knowledge, the tools, and the training you can achieve success with, but you have to apply it, you have to take action on it, and you have to do it. And those are the kind of things, that are really, really important. So cold calling, it's really inexpensive to do. Most of the time, it's local phone calls, so it doesn't even cost you long distance, but it can be a little intimidating, so that's something to keep in mind. But if it is very intimidating or scary for you, you can always hire a sales rep to close deals for you and just give them a commission on deals they bring in. And I'm going to go into that in a little bit here as well. And also be prepared when you're doing cold calling to be told about 10 to 15 times no for every yes you get. So be consistent and work hard at it. And sometimes those results are even worse. But in this kind of marketing, it's sometimes, it's usually a little better odds than regular telesales. And the reason is because you're offering a service that's so unique and so different. And so I know I'm young, but I've actually been doing business. I started actually well, I sold pencils when I was in second grade. But that's beside the point. But anyways, when I was in junior high, I was actually a junior sales representative for a custom apparel company, and I started calling on companies to get work done. And so I learned the beast of sales and marketing, and it was through that job that I got into the internet. So that's kind of, you guys can see how that transpired. But basically, what I learned there is you need to be consistent. I learned that you're always going to be prepared for a no. Obviously you want everything to be a yes, but don't be shot down if every time you turn around it's a no. You might make 20 phone calls and be told no every single time, and then on that 21st time you pick up the phone, it's a yes, and then maybe the 22nd time it's a yes. So you never know. So be consistent and don't give up if after 10 times you're told no. Keep pushing, because nothing in life that's worth achieving, is going to be easy for you. And, I know I'm young, but saying that, that's how I've gotten through everything I've done in life. I was not born into, with wealth, I was taught to work hard for everything I do, and that's one way that I've got to where I'm at. A lot of people think, well, he's got it made, because he's an internet guy and blah, blah, and all this. No, we have to work our tails off to get where we are. And so the people that you see that succeed, the people that you would consider gurus or the guru status and all that stuff, those are people that worked hard. They really pushed and they worked hard. And so you need to do that too. Be prepared to work hard. But once you work hard, the rewards are going to be there. So when you call, speak with the owner of the company, which is pretty easy in the local business environment. So with everything I told you before, just when you're doing your cold calling, make sure you're talking to the owner, because especially in a local business environment, they're going to be the main decision maker. when you're calling on bigger companies, it's typically going to be like the marketing department or the PR department. Typically stay away from the web teams of any company, just because the web designers, they get their feelings hurt when you actually tell them that they need help with search engine optimization. It's just the truth. They do, a lot of times that happens. They get upset with you. They'll tell their boss, they'll swear up and down that their SEO is great, and then their title tags are optimizing for their business name. And like I talked about in title tags, you need to have your keywords up there. And so, try to stay away from the web teams because they're just going to get offended. Try to go straight to the top. And that's really pretty easy to do with local businesses, because a lot of times in local businesses, the owner actually runs the company too. They're there all day. They might have 1 or 2 employees, but they're pretty much there all day too. And so, when you call and speak, try to speak with the owner, or try to get a time when the owner is going to be in, because that's the person ultimately that's going to sign you the check and get you the money. So make sure that you're talking to the owner. So tell them where you found their website, and let them know that you are a local business consultant. Tell them things like, hey, I found your business on Google somewhere, on page 7 or 8, or maybe just say, hey, I found you in the yellow pages, or I found you in the newspaper, or I found you in this online directory, or in the Chamber of Commerce directory. Tell them how you found them, because what that will do is that will kind of make them feel good, because it will make them feel like some of their advertising is working, and that will actually work in your favor because you planted a seed in their mind that, wow, they found me through advertising. So when you're pitching an advertising service to them, potentially, they're going to be a little more open to it. So it's kind of a psychological thing. Give them some stats about how many people are using the internet now to find businesses, and maybe ask about how their past advertising is working out for them. You can go to Google and type in a phrase like, local business search statistics, and it will show you all sorts of statistics out there from different reputable sources that basically lay out, different facts, facts that show that over 50%, of people have replaced the yellow pages. Other large percentage have quit using the newspaper and gone completely on the internet. Gives you stats as far as how many purchases in local businesses, how much business in the local business market resulted from online searches first. It goes through all that stuff in detail. And so, tell them some stats, things like that. Make sure that you tell them that you're an internet business consultant, because that's what you are. That's going to put you up on a little pedestal that you are considered an expert. So ask them if they are looking for more customers right now. Make sure you try to bring that up in that initial conversation. Most of the time, they're going to say yes. When you ask them a question like that, even though they may want to say no, they know that if they say no, they're going to sound really foolish. And I've actually had businesses tell me that. I've actually talked, and so don't be shocked at the kind of responses you get. I've talked to local realtors in Stillwater, Oklahoma, and I've explained to them what I do and showed them what I do, and I actually sold my house without an internet for sale by owner on the internet, outranking all the local realtors on the search engines, and I was able to show them this. And they still said, well, how could you teach our office anything? Why would we want to learn how to sell a house on the internet? And I about fell over when I heard that, because that's a real estate company. As an individual, I outranked the real estate company locally. I'm not saying that to boast. It was very simple to do. And yet they were still in shock because, they still did. I was in shock because they totally said, I don't want to work with you. We don't want to, why do we want to advertise on the internet? Why do we want to reach people on the internet? And how could you teach us that? And so don't be shocked if they say no, they don't want to get more customers. That's fine. Go on to the next one that does want to get customers. If they do say yes, if they're looking for more customers, ask them if they are by a computer. Now, again, this is recorded, so you can go back through this process. So this is kind of the process you go through in that first conversation. So you want to take notes of this. If they are next to their computer, show them an example of a ranking you have achieved for either yourself or for another past client. Or typically what I like to say, to do is, if you're brand new, just getting started, do some work for maybe a friend that owns a business, or maybe a friend of a friend or something like that. Try to do something for free for somebody. Try to do a service for free where you can achieve a ranking. So then you have some results you can show. You can say, hey, type in Tulsa, Oklahoma chiropractors and look at, I've got 2 of the top 10 listings for this, and I really feel like I can help you, in your particular topic. Tulsa, Oklahoma lawyers, I can help you get some rankings there. If they're not by computer, try to get their email address so you can email them the result and explain a little bit more about them. And that way you can kind of follow up with them through email. So ask them and tell you what kind of keyword phrases people would use to find them online, or that, phrases that they would want to rank for. And they will typically tell you. And then when you're, as they tell you that, pull out your computer. It's best if you're in front of your computer when you're on the phone with them, type in those phrases. So if they tell you flower shop, Stillwater flower shop, type that in and then, tell them, yeah, that's a good phrase. I don't see you anywhere on the first 10 pages. And then maybe have them do that search. And then they'll say, oh, wow, I don't see myself there. And what that's going to be doing is planting in their head like, wow, I do need help, because I'm not even visible out there. This isn't good, And once you get them thinking like that, they're going to become a customer of yours. The chances of closing that as a client is going to be pretty good. So really hit home with them that when people are using a search engine, they are pre-qualified buyers. And that's also a really important factor to business owners, is they're trying to get qualified leads through their advertising. And a lot of times, if people are just browsing through the yellow pages, they're still not specific searchers for certain topics. If they are just browsing through the newspaper, they're certainly not 100% targeted, because it's kind of like, as far as, newspapers go, a newspaper cannot guarantee that a certain percentage of their readers are looking to buy a couch that day. But if somebody's typing in, furniture store in Chicago, Illinois, or furniture store, Tecumseh, Nebraska, they are, then they're pretty targeted. They know exactly what they want, and I don't even know if there is a furniture store in Nebraska, but just kidding. But basically, if they're typing in those phrases, they know what they want. They are a pre-qualified lead, a pre-qualified buyer, and that kind of stuff is going to resonate well with the business owners. And explain to the business owner how this kind of marketing can help them get a return even years down the road for their company. That's a really important fact, because just changing title tags for a company is a benefit that they're going to reap between the time you change those until 10 years down the road or longer. Obviously you can't guarantee the exact time, but you can give them a rough idea that this is something that's going to stand the test of time and that will stay out there. Because a lot of times their title tags say home page, untitled one, it says just their business name. A lot of times they don't even have keywords in their title tags. So basically by just tweaking their title tags, you've now moved them up from page 12 on the search engines, or page 100, up into, clear up to page 2 or 3 or even page 1. And so just by that quick little change, they're going to see results from you, and they're going to love you for it. And so you can explain to them how this is something that's going to be there. Explain to them how when they're advertising in a newspaper, the second they quit paying for that newspaper advertising, it stops. Therefore, the traffic and the leads they were getting from that stops. Second they quit paying for their high-end Yellow Pages ad, it stops. The second, even if they're paying for pay-per-click ads, the second they quit paying for pay-per-click ads, their traffic stops. So they need services like this. And so, I want you guys to see this and, make sure that you're going after this. Direct mail campaigns. So you want to send that's another form of marketing. So we already talked about cold calling. So here's a little bit about direct mail campaigns and how they can work for you. Basically what you want to do is send a letter to the owner of the company explaining who you are and what you do. So that's all you do is basically get the owner's name and information, send them a letter. So tell them that you are an internet business consultant, establish yourself as an expert. One strategy to really establish yourself as an expert would be to write a short report of maybe about 5 or so pages, 5 to 10 pages. Write a short report. Basically, you guys could even go back through this training, take notes, and then turn that into a 5 to 10 page report on the topic of marketing a business on the internet. You're more than welcome to do that. Obviously my training is copyrighted, but the stuff that you guys can take from it is by way of notes and things. You guys could put that into a report, a special report, and then what you can do with it is turn that into a PDF document, or turn that into or go out to a printing company locally or something like that, and now you have a booklet. So now when you call them, you can say, I am so-and-so author of or creator of this report, and all of a sudden, boom, that makes you an instant expert. And what I'm actually doing to really build my credibility up is later this year, I'm launching a book on search engine optimization for local businesses. And I also recently just signed a contract with my local radio station to do a business and internet profits radio show. So now when I want to get new clients, I could just pick up the phone or have somebody else call for me and say, this is Paul Counts, or I'm calling on behalf of Paul Counts. This is Paul Counts, the host of the Paul Counts Internet Profits radio show. And all of a sudden that instantly resonates with them as an expert, And so find a way that you can become an expert. And a quick way to do that is, 5 to 10 pages, turn it into a report, and then now, boom, you've got a report that you can actually give to a local business to really build up your credibility, and they're going to listen to you, and so it's going to help you get a higher class, a higher level of client. So this letter can be very short and to the point. You don't want it to be long and drawn out. You just want it to be short and to the point, just like with your emails. I put together some pretty long swipe email copies for a recent promotion that we did. And, another more well-established marketer, was like, hey, you should probably try it this way. And, the shorter way does work much better because people have a very short attention span online. They have a short time to jump, at the offer. And so, try to not make it a long, drawn-out process. Make it 2 or 3 paragraphs, short to the point, and I'll show you an example here in a moment. So it doesn't need to be long or anything like that, short to the point. And basically, just like with cold calling, the more letters you get out there, the more return phone calls you will possibly receive, and the more emails you might get for potential price quotes. And so the more you get out there, so if you send out 100 letters, then you might get, a few callbacks. If you send out 10 letters, you're going to do okay. But if you just send out 1, you're going to get what you can do. So, and now you don't need to be expensive with your direct mail campaign either. If you send out, 100 letters, you don't need fancy stationery. All you need is white paper, black font. So just make sure you have enough ink, and print that up for yourself. Print up those letters. Address the envelopes. Typically addressing them by hand sometimes will get some attention. Think of maybe getting some creative envelopes. Sometimes those brown envelopes do really well for getting some people's attention. Things like that. A white plain envelope that's handwritten oftentimes will get a little more attention simply because most of the time businesses that are sending direct mail and bulk mail and stuff, they are sending them with computerized address and stuff like that, computerized addressing and all that kind of stuff. And so so business owners and things are just going to say, looks like junk mail, boom, looks like junk mail. But whenever, I know especially for me too, whenever I get mail and it's actually handwritten, it actually gets my attention. And, I've seen actually some really creative things where they've actually been able to make a computerized font look like it was handwritten, and so it really grabs your attention. You're like, wow, okay, I better read this, and so that's an idea right there too. So, and try to get the owner's name so you can address the letter and so you can address the envelope to the owner. Otherwise, he'll just go to a secretary, and the chances of the owner getting it are slim. And also, just make sure that you send out a good quantity of these letters as well. So below, here's a sample letter. I'll just read this to you rather quickly. So basically, there is a sample letter. And what you can do here is, and the sample letter will be in the recording. So as far as online advertising goes for your business, and I just wanted to actually pick up the process, but the sample letter will be in the recording. It's just very, very basic. You're just saying, introducing yourself and saying hello, who you are, and that kind of stuff. So now as far as online advertising goes, you want to use everything you have learned to promote yourself locally to get new clients. And so that's a really effective strategy. So just use everything that you have learned so far in this training course to promote yourself locally for these clients. So that would include SEO, that would include the article marketing, the press release marketing, all those kind of things. Make sure that you include those in your promotional efforts of yourself, because if you can prove to them that you can rank for your keyword phrase, Stillwater search engine optimization or Stillwater marketing. I'll give you some ideas of keywords too. Use keywords like your city and state and then marketing after it. Your city and state advertising, your city and state SEO, your city and state PR firm, because those are the kind of phrases people are looking for when they're looking for marketing services or looking for advertising type services. So do things like, Chicago, Illinois marketing, Chicago, Illinois advertising, Chicago, Illinois PR firm, Chicago, Illinois advertising firm, Dallas, Texas SEO company, Fremont, Michigan PR firm, all that kind of stuff. Try to use those kind of keyword phrases when you're trying to do your marketing. So substitute city and state with your city and state. Possibly if you're in Canada, it would be your province, obviously. If you're in another country, it'd be however that's structured. So those are the kind of phrases people will look for when they're looking for local services. You also want to consider posting ads on Craigslist in the small biz ads area. Excuse me. Basically what you're going to do on Craigslist is they have a small biz ad area, small biz ads, there we go. And in that section, it's going to be listed under small business typically, or services, and then it's going to be small business ads. And so you're just going to click on that. You can just write up, even take the letter that you're using to prospect businesses with, just copy and paste that in there. And then every 7 days or so, go in there and repost that to your Craigslist once it expires. You can also submit your site to local online directories. There's sites like Merchant Circle and stuff like that. Find a Merchant, or just different companies come up that are basically set up for local businesses. And so since you're doing this as a consulting, you can list yourself as a marketing company in some of these directories. So do searches for like your city and state, so like Stillwater, Oklahoma marketing, or Oklahoma City marketing, and things like that. And when you're doing searches like that, you'll find a listing of a lot of these companies that rank high in the search engines, and you can get a free listing on these. So just look for those local directories. And also, write press releases about what you're doing, what you bring to the table, and submit those online. And then again, make sure the title of your press release is your keywords, just like we discussed. And you can review the press release videos, the article videos, any of those things to discover a little bit more about, how to do this more effectively. And also get on Twitter. I'm probably opening a can of worms by saying the word Twitter, but everybody loves Twitter. Twitter's a great thing to be, and if you're going to be a local business consultant, you need to be on Twitter as well, because you want your clients to be on Twitter, because that's a really effective way for them locally to connect with their clients. I'm telling you, Twitter marketing works locally, because I actually the other day, or a while back in Stillwater, I wrote, and this is a good way that you could market on Twitter, or teach your local businesses to market. But basically, I wrote on a Twitter post that I was out having ice cream with my family, and had a great day with my kids or something like that. And next thing I know, I get something from Qdoba, which is a restaurant in Stillwater, Oklahoma. Some of you may have heard of it, but basically it's a Mexican food restaurant. They send me a direct reply to me saying, at Paul Counts, hope it's cool, good to hear you had a great day with your kids. Hey, why don't you bring your kids in on Sunday, because all kids' meals are free. I mean, I was like, wow, that person just, that was great. I'm a marketer, and I wasn't even resilient to it. That was a great way for them to get me, and that shows you a great way local businesses can connect with people, that you can teach them how to follow people that are local to them and how they can reach out to people. It was really effective marketing. My wife didn't like Mexican food that much, but otherwise I probably would have gone and eaten at Qdoba that Sunday afternoon after church. So, that's a great way to market and leverage Twitter, and that's how your businesses, the local businesses, can market it, on a local scale. But if you want to be seen as an expert, try to build up your Twitter following as best as you can. And that the reason is because people really look at Twitter as a big thing on the internet now. So make sure you're on Twitter too, because if you're not there, they're not going to, it's going to hurt your credibility a little. Also, consider setting up a blog and promote your services. Set up like a WordPress blog, set up a blogger.com blog. I would recommend doing like a WordPress.org blog that's on your actual server, so you have your own domain name. That's going to be the best way to do it. And pick a domain like, either your niche market, so it'd be like, Fremont, Michigan, marketing services, or Fremont, Michigan internet marketing, or something like that, to draw their attention. Or you could use your name. That's another idea. You could use like, Paul Counts Consultant, Jeff Wellman Consultant, things like that, are some examples. The Chamber of Commerce is another fabulous way to connect with clients and find new clients. Most local communities, even smaller towns, have a Chamber of Commerce or have one in a neighboring city. So just like, if you run out of clients in your area, there's always another town, that you can go onward to. And even the smallest towns have Chambers of Commerce. And so look them up, look for your local Chamber of Commerce, and I'm going to show you how you can get connected. They're a great way for you to connect with local business owners. They're always holding events. Every month they'll have 5, up to 10 events a month, opportunities where you can go and network with other business owners who are also members of the chamber. You have chances to promote your services. You have chances to get into their newsletters. There's special rates on advertising. Like my local chamber, for $150, you can place an advertisement that will go out to 1,200 business owners, and it will reach 1,200 business owners for only $150, and they will do all the work. You just give them an insert. That may seem like a lot of money, $150, but in the scheme of things, it really isn't that bad because they're doing all the work. They're folding everything, they're compiling it, and you get sent out to 1,200 business owners in your area. And so it gives you some exposure, some additional exposure out there, and it's something to consider. So they're a great way for you to connect with local business owners. Especially in smaller communities, you can get free advertising from the chamber most of the time. Now, large chambers of commerce, I'll say this, they sometimes aren't the easiest to work with, and their fees are pretty expensive. Like Los Angeles, California Chamber of Commerce, may not be as user-friendly as like the Stillwater, Oklahoma Chamber of Commerce, but maybe things like niche chamber, like, I'm sure Los Angeles has more than one chamber of commerce. I know Sacramento has several, big cities like that, they have several. So try to find a smaller one, or find one in a suburb, neighboring suburb. Like even the Oklahoma City Chamber of Commerce would be pretty big, but like the Edmond Chamber of Commerce would be a good one to be in, kind of example, it's a suburb of Oklahoma City. But these smaller chambers give you great opportunities because they give you like, so basically, they give you an opportunity to get free advertising. Like my local Chamber of Commerce, when I signed up, they only charged me, it was $20 a month. I was able to just pay it monthly, $20 a month. And when I first signed on, they gave me free advertising. So I got free ads that ran, in their newsletter that went out to everybody. They put a write-up in there about my business. I could do a ribbon cutting if I wanted to. I could hold my own event. They also allowed me to do my own webinar, and they promoted it for free. So like my second month of membership, I was able to hold my very own webinar where basically I went in and taught local businesses how to do a little bit about search engine optimization. I taught them ways they can to start driving traffic. So I just built value in this webinar that they all listened to, and then at the end of it, I sold them on my services. And so what happened there is I got new clients. I have a list built up. I created a video, and so now I have a squeeze page set up for local businesses, and every other day or every day sometimes I have new businesses in actually Oklahoma, and I can track it because I have it set up to grab their phone numbers or and their emails, but a lot of them are using email services that I know are from Oklahoma, and so I can tell that it's working locally. So I'm getting a lot of local exposure, and they're going through and seeing me as an expert now because I have this hour-long video that they can access, and then I have actually a follow-up sequence, and I've had comments from people say, wow, that's a great follow-up sequence, because I have messages in there that go out 7 days after they download the video. It says, hello, so-and-so. It says their name. Hey, I've seen it's been 7 days since you downloaded the video or accessed the video. I hope you've had a chance to watch it. Here's a PDF of the slides from this presentation. Hope you enjoy that. And so I have people going, wow, how did you know it was 7 days? They're shocked by that. And so it opens up the door for you to promote to them. And so that was all done. Thank you to the Chamber of Commerce. That was a free thing. Another opportunity that I was able to do, they will oftentimes allow you to speak at a lunch or breakfast to the members, and you could also talk to them about doing a webinar, just like I said. So they have lunches and breakfasts all the time, and those are great events for you to go to attend. But you could also say, hey, I would like to speak sometime on internet business, and this is kind of what I can bring to the table, what I plan to cover. Now they aren't interested in you pitching at these events, and neither are the members. What they're interested in is hearing some good, solid, unique content, and they're going to be interested in that. They are going to be interested in that. Now, be prepared at times, you may get turned down. I personally, was actually, my Chamber of Commerce was turned down because they had just hired, had a local company come in, and they talked about Twitter, I think is what they talked about. So they felt like it was too close, but they were really interested in what I could bring to the table, so they had me do a webinar. So, actually I was the one that brought up the webinar idea, and they said, wow, that's interesting. And so that's actually an angle that most chambers may not have considered. Another benefit from being in the chamber is they oftentimes we'll let you have, for $20, you can actually rent out an entire room, so it seats 35, 50 people, might be a small room, but you could hold your own live event in there for $20. If you were to do that at a hotel, you might be looking at $500 to $1,000, and so those are some little things you can do with your Chamber of Commerce. So make sure you leverage them. Yes, they cost a little investment. Some of them let you pay monthly, some quarterly, to break up the payments, but it can really be a good way to excel this kind of business, and I found it to be most beneficial. You can consider signing up as a member. It's really important. And then, like I said, attend as many events as you possibly can. And another great benefit, my wife loves it when we can get somebody to watch the kids, but they have great food, at these events too. So that's another perk of it too. So not only can you network, but there's also all sorts of free great food. And they usually have several of these a month. So just by networking, I've been able to get in touch with many potential clients that didn't even know I existed or what I did existed. Another avenue that I've been able to tap into with the Chamber. Now I know this, a lot of this is how to market your services, knowing what you know now. I offered to write articles for their newsletters as well. So they have a monthly newsletter that goes out to all their members. And so they're always looking for new content, and they just, quote you as the author. So just like, basically, this would be the equivalent of article marketing, where you have your resource box. I had my resource box, after my article is, 5 video marketing steps. I went through 5 little basic steps for video marketing success. And, I had some comments on that. I got some phone calls and some leads from that, because in the resource box, Paul Counts is a local internet business expert. You can go to his website and download a free video on how to, increase your traffic, all that. So I had leads come in. I had, more exposure. It was free. It didn't cost me anything, and they were appreciative, and they're going to have me probably write a few more because people enjoyed that. And to approach them, because a lot of times they just are looking for filler content for their local newsletters, and so they'll go out and they'll pull articles off the internet, on these different topics from like the Associated Press Newswire or different things like that, where when they would actually prefer to have content, they told me, they would actually prefer to have content from their members. And so if you can do that, you're going to be in good shape. So this is so good I said it twice. Okay, sales reps. You can hire commission-only sales representatives in your local community. I'll show you how to do that. And a sales representative is basically somebody that works on a commission. They work on a referral. It's almost like affiliate marketing, but in the human form, where they are basically your affiliate. Think of them as your affiliate or joint venture partner that's mailing out for you or something. That's what your commission sales rep is. You don't pay them an hourly rate. You don't pay them a salary. All they get paid on is on performance. And so they are motivated to succeed, which helps you because you don't have to put anything out of pocket. Yes, your profit is a little bit less, but yes, you're going to reach more people and new people that you probably would not have reached. And also with working with sales reps, you could avoid having to do those cold calls that you may not appreciate doing, things like that. You also may not have to worry about paying for your own direct mail campaigns because your sales rep might actually send out their own, things like that, to generate leads. So that means basically with the commission-only rep, you only pay if they bring in a sale for you. And so you could offer anywhere from 20 to 30% or higher even. Basically, the higher commission you offer, the better representative. Obviously, I wouldn't go too high for this kind of work because the payout's going to be pretty good. But just like with anything, the higher commission you give affiliates, obviously you want to keep it reasonable so you're making money. But, as valuable as you can make it for the affiliate, or in this case, the sales rep, that's where you're going to succeed. So if you go the sales rep angle, try to give them a fair rate. Consider advertising in newspapers. It costs you a little bit to post a job ad, but it can be quite worth it. And there's people looking for extra income opportunities all the time. Advertise online, put keywords like your city and state and jobs or commission job or stuff like that. And then consider going with college job boards as well. Like there's a lot of colleges out there that have, human resource department. I'm trying to think the best way. They call them like, well, the department I'm thinking of is called Hire OSU Grads, but that's not a good example. Oh, career services. There we go. Career services at colleges. They told me, I learned about this at a Chamber of Commerce event by networking, but I can advertise for free my job listings to colleges' career services. So when I have a sales rep job, which I'm going to be looking pretty soon here, basically I can just reach out to the local newspapers and things like that. So I can, or excuse me, the career services, and then they will actually, it's government funded because they're trying to get their students plugged into local jobs and things like that in the community. And so you can try to contact the career services department of your local college, community college, things like that, because you can get a free listing on job boards. Because a lot of times sites like monster.com, things like that, can cost you a pile of money. Even advertising on Craigslist can cost you about 20 or 30 bucks for your job ad. So keep that in mind. Now try Craigslist, because sometimes I believe it's free, but most of the time they charge you for job listings. That's how Craigslist makes a lot of their money. To work with your sales reps and help as much as you can, because they are big for you. Just like when you get affiliates, you want to work hard for your affiliates. You want to give them the materials they need to succeed. You want to give your sales reps the materials they need. You want to give them the copy of the letters to send out. You want to give them maybe a script to say when they're talking to people. You maybe want to give them a brochure or a flyer to hand out. You want to educate them, answer any questions they have. Because just like with your affiliate, you want to treat them like gold, because they can make you a lot of potential, money. And so keep that in mind. They are there to help you just as much as they need you, because they want to make more money. So it's a win-win situation. Another strategy is to create a local business event or meetup. So make sure you have a Twitter account before you try this. You can set up your event or meetup, as they're sometimes called, for free at a site called eventbrite.com. Now, eventbrite.com, I was blown away when I saw the service recently. It's basically what it is. It's a free way, absolutely free, to set up your events here, and you can actually hold a local event for free, and you could even charge businesses to attend this event, and they have a built-in affiliate program. Like, this site is amazing, and it doesn't cost you anything but a per transaction fee if you have a paid event. So let's say that I am charging $100 for people to come listen to me speak about SEO. Let's just use that as a rough number. And let's say, for example, that I wanted to get a bunch of people in the room. So every time somebody buys a ticket, quote unquote, to my event through Eventbrite, it would cost me 2.5%. That's how they make their money, plus 99 cents. So it would cost me $3.50 about. So my profit is $96.50. Pretty good deal, I'd say. And then obviously, it goes into PayPal. So you've got to consider your PayPal fees there, which is another 3%. And then, but what's cool though is you can set up an affiliate program. So I can say, for everybody that refers somebody to my event, they will make $50, and Eventbrite gives them a special link. And so you could actually set up your own affiliate program for your individual event through Eventbrite and pay your affiliates like $50 or so, for that referral, or $100 or $500, depending on how much you're charging. Now, for this local event, you may not want to even charge for it. I'm just saying, if you want to, Eventbrite is set up for that, those capabilities starting August 1st. So it's a very new technology. You probably have not heard about it yet, so I'm glad to bring you, be one of the guys bringing this to you. But it's a great service for you to check out and use. I'm going to actually look into that more thoroughly and talk to my business partners about this as well. But it's a great concept, because it basically allows you to set up your local events and then actually charge and have your own affiliate referral program for these local kind of events. But basically, if you set up a free event, it doesn't cost you anything. If you have a paid event, it doesn't cost you anything unless they buy. So in this situation, to generate more business and more leads, it's best if you just do a free event. So you have a free event, but if you really want to get creative, maybe have an event and you give your affiliates $50 per referral, or you give people $50 referral just to encourage them to send people there. And so maybe the fee is $75 for the event, and you're giving the affiliate 70 of that, and then the extra $5 maybe is set aside to cover your fees or something of that nature. And then that way you don't have to invest anything. You're paying your affiliates, they're happy, so they're going to refer some people, and then now you can sit there and have your event. Or another strategy is you have a free event, and you get as many people there, and you talk to somebody and say, for everything that I sell, you get a percentage of my sales, or something like that. Or you could do the own cold calling to get people to that event. You do the own letters sending out, whatever it takes. Use Twitter, use press releases, all that to get people to your local events. And start following local businesses in your area as well on Twitter, and they will typically follow you back if they are out there already. A lot of newspaper and radio sites, they have a calendar online that you can submit events to for free, so you could add your event there. And then you could also post on the Craigslist events page as well for free. It's a page that in your local area that a lot of people access. Even newspaper editors will access that, so you might get interviewed for it. So now here's a little tip on how to get leads to contact here. So here's a couple sites for you to look at. GoLeads.com, they charge you a small fee to access a database. The reason I like GoLeads and InfoUSA.com, InfoUSA is a little more expensive. You buy a certain amount of leads. You could say I want to buy all the chiropractors in Oklahoma. So then you could just maybe do a niche market to chiropractors or something. But what I like about those services is they actually give you some demographic data about the business. So they'll tell you things like how much revenue is there for the company. Like InfoUSA would even tell you how much this company spends on advertising. So you could pull a list of companies that are spending more than $10,000 a year in advertising. So that would tell you, okay, they're already spending this much more on advertising. I have that much better of a chance to close them. They also give you the direct name of the owner or like the general manager. And so that means you have a great opportunity to speak to the correct person. And so that's why I like InfoUSA and GoLeads.com so much. Those are great services. YellowPages.com, and it's a free option. You can go to YellowPages.com, browse businesses in your local area. Pull out your phone book as well. Look at the businesses that have the front page and back cover ads. Those are the premium ad spots. They're spending a pile of money for those spots. Those are the kind of people that you're going to want to contact. So I say, obviously people aren't using the Yellow Pages. I use my Yellow Pages still, and the only reason I use it is not to find businesses, but to find businesses to contact and prospect. That's the only reason I use it. Now, I don't use it to find things because the internet's so much easier. But it's a great tool, so don't throw away your Yellow Pages, because it can be your best asset as far as finding it. If you don't have your phone book, I'm sure the phone company would gladly give you another one. Sometimes they give you 3 or 4 anyways as it is. But basically, look for those that have premium ad spots. Look for those with the big blown up advertisements. Look for those with the ads on the front, the back, the color ads inside, the bold ads, the large picture ads. Look for those kind of ads. Those are going to be your potential clients because they're the ones that understand the power of advertising, or they're the ones that are actually wasting a pile of money in advertising, and you can give them a solution that's going to be effective. So you can also use your Chamber of Commerce online directory to find leads. Most of the time they have an online directory which includes like names of all the businesses and oftentimes the business owner's name or the main contact's name. And so it's a great resource for you to access to contact. So type in your local Chamber of Commerce and look for their member directory. Most of them have one. So here's another creative way to get more clients, and basically another strategy is to set up a website for a business in your local area and promote it using the methods learned in this course, and once it ranks, sell the website to them or sell the leads to them. So for example, Tulsa, Oklahoma Chiropractors.com, you guys probably saw me go through this process. I have not sold the site yet. I actually need to finish getting the work done because I actually have 2 top rankings for the core keyword phrase. Tulsa, Oklahoma Chiropractors, Tulsa Chiropractors, I think, and a few other phrases that I have rankings for, not only for the site, but for a press release I did. And so I'm going to clean up the site really quick and try to get in touch with a local business. And what I did, though, is I created a case study for myself, so now I can also tell local businesses about this. But further, what I've done here is I've now been able to have something where it's going to open the door for me to talk to a business. It's going to be an easy way for me to strike up conversation with the potential client. I can contact any chiropractor in Tulsa and say, hey, I've got the site ranking on the first page for this keyword phrase. And instead of them going, listening to my sales pitch and then deciding if they want to do it, which is okay, you'd have to call several, and they may all say no. Instead, now they're going to have your attention because you're going to say, well, look at the site, just go to Google and type it in, or send them an email about it. And now it's going to grab their attention. It'll grab their secretary's attention, and they'll say, well, I need to have this. And then you could sell the site to them, for a couple $1,000s, but it doesn't take you long to do because of the strategies you're learning here. So if they already see rankings in their niche, how can they say no to that? They already see what you've done in their niche. Even if they don't want to buy that website that you have, you might be able to sell leads to them. I know some people that do this where they actually turn around and strike up a deal where they say, hey, for every lead I get, qualified lead through the web, I will sell them to you for $50 a lead or $35 a lead. So that's one strategy as well. The best one is to sell it and then or build it and then flip it. That's a new way to do website flipping that's really effective. And if they already see rankings again in their niche, how can they say no to you? They're going to say, okay, this guy knows what he's doing, so what could he do for my business? So even if they don't buy it, which they're probably going to be crazy not to, you could approach them with that. You could also barter, do some bartering and say, hey, I will throw in this website if you take on, do this client, if you allow me to do work for you. So here's a list of types of services. You've all learned all these, and these are all in the last 10 modules. You've learned about SEO consulting, article and press release marketing, directory submissions, video marketing, podcasting, setting up Web 2.0 properties, set up Aweber or squeeze pages. You've all learned this kind of stuff. So you've learned everything, again, from SEO, article, press release marketing, directory submissions, video marketing, podcasting, Web 2.0 properties, and then most of you probably know how to set up Aweber or a squeeze page, because a lot of you guys in the trainings you're going to be learning, if you're in the Autopilot Wealth Institute, would be related to this. And a lot of you guys in this traffic course I know already have a squeeze page on your website. And so if you know how to do that, if you know how to install a blog, things like that, business owners will pay for these kinds of services. So anything that I've taught you and that you've learned over the past 10 modules, then you can actually succeed by selling the service to other people. You just do it for yourself first and become an expert at it. So here's one sample package that I want to show you guys could do. Basically, you guys can pause this video and copy this package if you want to offer it. But you offer them professional keyword research. We covered that. A report on website changes. You know what to tell them to change based on the SEO module we went through. You talk to them about writing an article, so you write a good keyword-rich article. You know how to create a Squidoo and a hub page form based on that article and the buyer keyword phrase. You know how to do all that. You know how to take an article and read it so it becomes a podcast. We've gone through that in our training. You know how to take your podcast audio and make that into a video. We've already covered that. You know how to submit a video online. You can submit your website to RSS feed directories. You know where to find those. You can submit to social bookmarking websites. You can also submit your audio to podcast directories as another alternative service. You know how to write a press release for your business. You can submit that press release online. And then you know how to do directory submissions. And you know how to do article submissions. And you also know how to create a software toolbar for the business. That's another service. You know how to submit that to software directories, which is what's covered in the directory submissions. And a package like this, you could market to local businesses for around $12.55, or $12.50 is what I meant, to around $2,000. So you could market it for around that range. You could go less, but the best way to go without devaluing it is about $12.50 up to $2,000, and you can make some great money at that. Doing that. So you see there, by just implementing that, you can start picking up some clients that will pay you, some money. So even if you get an extra client a month and you continue doing your other aspects of your business, you can see how this could translate into some decent money for you, some decent income. And so this is, another business model you can apply for yourself. So here's some key points. Make this work for yourself first before approaching clients to do the work for them. You want to make this work for yourself first. So do it for your own websites. Do it for your own affiliate sites. Do it for your own product website. Whatever it is, try it yourself first and make sure it works there, which typically it will. Also, apply this maybe to a friend's or a friend of a friend's website, or maybe just somebody you feel like you're giving, so a free person in the community, and try to help them out, because they're going to be your best case study and testimonial as well. Go through the training as many times as you need to ensure that you know exactly what you're doing. So you don't want to get a client and then say, uh-oh, I forgot what keyword research is. And even if you do that, it's not like you need to master this. Even if you say, uh-oh, I need to a refresher on keyword research so I can properly do the work for this client, go back through and watch that module. Make sure you can provide a good service to them. But going through this training, you're going to be able to provide a good service. So once you have a grasp, start going after your clients, and just pursue them. Try to be consistent as you approach new customers, and being consistent and aggressive will ensure you achieve the best results possible. And then make sure that as you do your work, you get testimonials, and make sure you use a free software program like Jing to do screenshots of top rankings you've been able to achieve, because that's going to go right into your marketing materials, so you can use that to get new clients for yourself. And then keep in mind that networking is extremely important, and then consider getting business cards for yourself, because that's going to be really big for you as you do this, because businesses, it doesn't look very professional, especially if you're networking or at a chamber of commerce event and they say, hey, could I have your card? Oh, no, I don't have a card. And you have to write it on a piece of paper. This does not look professional. So spend the $25 to $50 to get some business cards. You can look for them online. I believe Vistaprints has some. There's other places you can get some business cards printed up at. So these are key points and components to turning this into a profitable business venture for yourself. So thank you for attending all the traffic generation blueprints modules, and I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording here.